Hi everyone, it's Michael Teal with Presentation Plus Ups. In this episode, we're going to walk through some ways that Microsoft Teams has really elevated their game in terms of giving you, the presenter, some improved screen share modes. Let's get started. All right, for the past year, we've been talking about some of the magic of bringing in broadcast level production, which would be things like picture in picture, whether it's something of this nature or more of the reporter over the shoulder look, or just having that ability to sequence between your content, your camera, and all of the good stuff. And I know it's unfair to ask Microsoft or Zoom or WebEx or whatever the name of the system is to have all of this. But the fact is, we know the out of office lifestyle is going to continue. And I will give credit where credit's due. Microsoft Teams is really stepping up their game and providing you, the presenter, some new tools. So I'm going to profile those here. So let's get started and take a look at what you have at your disposal. All right, so for Microsoft Teams, we're in the environment. When it's time for you to screen share, here's some of the cool new things that are available to you. So first of all, hit your screen share button. And what I want you to do is notice that you now have some presenter modes. And you can even add a background to it. So let's go ahead and add a background first. Let's just add a random one here. And I don't know, I'm feeling this one. I think that's kind of cool. And now we have 4 different presenter modes. So we have your good old-fashioned content only. We have standout mode, side by side, and reporter. So let's put each one to the test and take a look at it. Now, to make this happen, I've had to get a little creative. I actually have 4 different cameras going here right now. So let's have a little fun with this while we're doing it. So let's start with standout mode. That looks like it should be more of a green screen type mode. So let's hit that, and I will select a screen that has a PowerPoint deck. Hi everyone, how's it going? So what I had to do here to get a little creative is I actually have a webcam that's videotaping a screen that has the content. And the reason I do that is when you use one of these new presenter modes, what you will have from Microsoft Teams is they will provide you a little broadcast window of this content. So I'll actually just resize this for a second. So you essentially get a confidence monitor as a presenter. And just for the sake of recording, I'm going to make this bigger. If you had one screen, for example, you could shrink this thing down pretty small. And you just know that if this is even on the screen, no one else can see this content. It is just not visible to them. So you have in essence, a confidence monitor. So that's the first thing. I'm going to make this big. I've got myself in a little bit of a composition here so you can just basically tell the difference between this, the true content, and the elements that I'm using for OBS Studio to record this, okay? So this was, I believe this was standout mode, if I'm not mistaken. So I want you to notice a couple things. You have this default Microsoft green screen effect. So love it or hate it, that's what you have. And behind you will be a full screen of your presentation or whatever you are screen sharing. So whether that's a window or it's an actual screen. So you can see your content, can cruise through there. And I think this is already a win. This is a dramatic win versus other content. So you are now in your screen share and part of it. So I think that's a great thing. So that's one of the modes. Now I want you to bear in mind, you can't jump between these modes. If you need to switch, you need to stop your screen share and select another one. So just be aware of that as a workaround. I am going to stop this screen share. We'll try one of the other modes. Okay, we are back in Teams. Let's try a second mode here. We've already tried standout mode. Let's try side by side. I'm interested to see how this compares to the default OBS Studio that I've been talking about for a while here. So we've hit side by side and we'll select that same slide deck. Okay, so here's a little look at side by side. This is about the default size that it comes in. I will maximize that on the screen so you can get a big view of it. So if you'll recall, I added a custom background in here. So I'm assuming you could also add a branded background. But I have to tell you, this is pretty nice. Now, obviously, I don't think I'm quite perfectly sized on this webcam where I would need to be. So let me see if I can get that a little better. So you'd want to be intentional about where you're placing yourself. But if you look, we are picture in picture. We've got a very nice picture in picture. This is exactly what your screen share looks like. So as you're cruising through your content, you've got a nice win here. This is a good look. You'll just want to make sure that you've got yourself centered right or left, stage right or stage left when you're going to present. So I would recommend that you at least practice with this. And I think this is great. I think this is a nice upgrade. So if you wanted to get tricky, you could actually create a background composition that had your branded logo, perhaps even had your name down here, do a bit of a plus up in this environment. And I think this is something I'm going to have to really work on as well and just check this out. So I think that's a win. Let's take a look at the third mode, which was reporter mode. Okay, third mode, let's go back to screen share mode here. And I'm going to select reporter and let's pick the same deck and check it out. Okay, so we are in reporter mode right now. And again, this is the default size. It's meant to be just a little bit of a broadcast confidence monitor. So you can see as the presenter where your content is, where you are relative to it. So again, pros and cons. You can see it will put the Microsoft default on there for you. So you're going to have that. Getting it to that next level professional production will require you to step up to some sort of studio mix. Let's just go ahead and maximize this one and give you a little better look at it. This is giving you some nice content. This gives you a good look here. Okay, so let's talk some pros and cons of these presenter modes. Number one, I absolutely applaud Microsoft for giving this a go and adding some new dimensions. I think this is great for the typical business user that neither has the time or inclination to level up their studio mix and add multiple cameras. So I think this is a nice win. My personal favorite here is the side-by-side mode, which is more of a standard picture-in-picture. You get a nice branded look. You are now in your screen share and you can whiz and whir away with your overall presentation content. So some of the downsides are, and I'm going to just switch back to my default overall OBS studio, is the fact that you still do not have what I would call non-linear scene switching. So in this case, for example, you don't have that ability to switch over to a picture-in-picture or go to that reporter mode or content only, or back to a camera, or kick up a lower third, or take it off. You don't have those capabilities. And again, that might be nitpicky, but for someone who's just the average business user, I think that this new feature, and I'll just kick back over to it here, of having this is fantastic. All right, so that was today's review. Microsoft Teams kicking up their game. Hopefully you appreciate that. Hey everyone, not to date this too much, but Thanksgiving is coming up for 2021. There's so much for me personally to be thankful for, between family and friends, growing an audience with presentation plus ups, and hopefully adding a little value out there to your world and helping you become more effective, whether it is in a live or a virtual presentation. So happy holidays to everyone, and please make it a great day.